The 1933 Italy UFO incident. The Magenta Crash, a forgotten chapter in UFO history. Good evening, and welcome to Space, the final frontier above and beyond. An open-minded channel where we explore the mysteries of the universe, the unexplained, and the truths that hide just beyond our reach. Tonight's journey takes us far back in time, before Roswell, before Kenneth Arnold's famous sighting, before the term flying saucer had even entered the public imagination. Our story begins in Italy, 1933, in the final years before the outbreak of the Second World War. This is the story of the Magenta Crash, sometimes called the Italian Roswell. It is a tale of a mysterious craft, a secret government bureau, and the chilling possibility that the very first UFO crash retrieval did not happen in New Mexico in 1947, but instead in fascist Italy, under the watchful eye of Benito Mussolini. What you're about to hear blends historical records, leaked documents, eyewitness testimony, and modern whistleblower accounts. Whether you believe this to be fact, conspiracy, or legend, one thing is certain: the mystery of the 1933 UFO crash refuses to be forgotten. This video is for entertainment only and not intended to be used for any other purposes, so have fun and enjoy this blast from the past. Italy in the early 1930s, a nation on edge. The year is 1933. Italy, under Mussolini's fascist regime, is obsessed with aviation. Airplanes are the new frontier of national pride. The fascists use technology as propaganda, showcasing sleek aircraft, daring stunts, and promises that Italy will dominate the skies. But the political climate is tense. Hitler's Germany is rising, war clouds gather across Europe, and in the midst of this fragile landscape, something happens that no one can explain. In the small town of Magenta, near Milan, whispers spread of an extraordinary event. Farmers, workers, and local police reportedly see a large metallic object descending from the sky. Not like a conventional aircraft, no wings, no propellers, no sound of engines. Instead, a silent, gleaming craft shaped like a disc or elongated cylinder, shimmering in the sunlight. Witnesses describe it as otherworldly.
It looked like polished silver, like a plate spinning slowly as it came down. It was too large to be a plane, too silent to be a balloon, and too strange to be from Earth.
The craft reportedly came to rest in a remote field near Magenta. What happened next would change the course of UFO history. The arrival of RS-33. News of the strange crash quickly reached the authorities. Local police filed reports, but within hours the matter was taken over by Mussolini's secret services. The dictator himself allegedly ordered that the incident be classified at the highest level. A special bureau was formed, Gabinetto RS-33, a cabinet specifically tasked with studying unconventional aircraft. The initials RS are said to stand for Ricerche Speciali, special research. This shadowy bureau reportedly included scientists, engineers, and military officials. Some historians believe Guglielmo Marconi, the famous radio pioneer, may have even been consulted. One leaked memo, supposedly written by Mussolini, describes the object as a velivolo non convenzionale, an unconventional aircraft. The documents warn of unknown dangers and advise secrecy to prevent public panic. Imagine the scene: fascist officials arriving at the crash site, soldiers cordoning off the area, locals driven away at gunpoint. The strange craft, partially damaged, is loaded onto trucks and taken to a secure hangar near Milan. Witnesses recall soldiers whispering,
"It is not Russian. It is not German. It is not ours. Then, what is it?"
The seeds of Italy's greatest UFO mystery had been planted. Inside the hangar, for years, the craft reportedly remained hidden in a military storage facility. Scientists examined it in secret. Some claim the material was like lightweight metal, impossibly strong, resistant to heat and pressure. Others believe the design was beyond human technology of the time. Sketches leaked decades later show a classic disc-shaped object with windows or portholes. If true, this predates Kenneth Arnold's famous 1947 flying saucers by 14 years. Inside Mussolini's inner circle, debate raged. Was this the work of a foreign power, a secret German invention, or something else entirely? A witness statement, allegedly from a military officer involved, said,
"We thought it might be German, but there were no markings, no rivets, no seams. It was as if it had been cast in one piece, with no sign of human engineering, and yet it was real, solid, tangible."
Some scientists warned Mussolini that the object was of non-human origin. Others feared it was a dangerous weapon. Either way, the order came down. Study it, guard it, never let the public know. Thus, the RS-33 Bureau became the world's first official UFO crash retrieval program, years before Roswell, the cover-up and the fear of panic. Why the secrecy? In 1933, aviation was still a fragile science. Commercial airlines were rare. Most people had never flown in a plane. To reveal that something from beyond human technology had crashed in Italy would have caused widespread panic and undermined Mussolini's regime. Documents attributed to Mussolini warn that
The news must be controlled. The people are not ready. The consequences of revelation would be incalculable.
rumors trickled out, of course. Locals spoke of soldiers moving something strange through the night. Farmers whispered about a fallen star taken away by the fascists. But anyone who asked too many questions reportedly disappeared. The Magenta incident faded into silence, buried beneath layers of secrecy. But the object remained, locked away in its hangar, a prize that Mussolini's government guarded jealously. World War II and the vanishing craft. Fast forward to 1945. Italy has fallen. Mussolini is dead. The Allies sweep through northern Italy, seizing control of military bases, archives, and factories. And with them, according to some researchers, goes the Magenta craft. Reports suggest that U.S. forces discovered the stored object and secretly transported it back to America, just as they later would in Germany with rocket scientists during Operation Paperclip. If true, the 1933 crash may have provided the United States with advanced materials and insights, decades before the modern UFO age began. Some conspiracy theorists even suggest that early American advances in stealth technology, propulsion, and aerospace engineering trace back to this Italian retrieval. Of course, none of this is officially acknowledged. The records of RS-33 vanished in the chaos of war. The hangars were emptied, and for decades the story was forgotten. Rediscovery in the 1990s. The Magenta crash returned to public attention in the 1990s, thanks to Italian researcher Roberto Pinotti. Pinotti claimed to have obtained leaked documents from RS-33. These included sketches of the craft, letters attributed to Mussolini, and reports from scientists. The documents describe a metallic disc and caution against revealing its existence. Skeptics argue the papers may be forgeries, but Pinotti insists they are genuine, pointing to linguistic style, official seals, and references consistent with the period. One of the most striking documents is a telegram warning Mussolini that unconventional aircraft had been sighted and that immediate secrecy was required. Pinotti called it Italy's Roswell, but in truth, if authentic, it predates Roswell by more than a decade. Modern whistleblowers, David Grusch and the Magenta crash. The story took an even stranger turn in 2023, when U.S. whistleblower David Grusch testified before Congress. Grusch, a former intelligence official, claimed that the U.S. government has operated secret crash retrieval programs for decades. And among the crashes he specifically mentioned, the 1933 Italy incident. According to Grusch, the craft recovered in Magenta was seized by U.S. forces after the war and transported to America, exactly as the Pinotti documents had claimed. This stunning revelation reignited interest in the case. If true, it means the Magenta crash is not just legend. It is part of a hidden history of UFO secrecy stretching back nearly a century. So what really happened in 1933? Theories abound. Alien craft. The simplest explanation, if one believes the reports, is that a genuine UFO crashed in Italy, proof of extraterrestrial contact decades before Roswell. German prototype. Some suggest it was an early German experimental craft, perhaps a prototype of the so-called Haunebu flying disc projects rumored during World War II. Italian experiment? Could it have been a failed Italian test aircraft, covered up to avoid embarrassment? Elaborate hoax. Skeptics argue the documents surfaced too late and may be clever forgeries, created in the 1990s to stir UFO interest. But the testimony of Grusch, combined with the consistency of the documents, leaves the question disturbingly open. Legacy of the Magenta Crash. Whether real or myth, the 1933 Magenta Crash has become a cornerstone of UFO lore. It forces us to ask, how long have governments known about UFOs? If Mussolini's fascist regime really did recover a craft, then UFO secrecy began not in America, but in Europe, under one of history's most infamous dictators. It also raises another chilling question. If the U.S. seized the Magenta craft in 1945, how much of our modern aerospace technology has been influenced by something not of this earth? And finally, why are we only learning of this now? Conclusion. The Magenta crash of 1933 remains one of the most mysterious events in UFO history. Hidden beneath the shadows of fascism, war, and secrecy, it resurfaced only through leaks, research, and modern whistleblowers. Was it an alien craft, a foreign experiment, or a story too strange to be true? We may never know for certain, but as the years pass, the voices grow louder. Whistleblowers, researchers, and citizens demanding the truth. And perhaps one day, the hangars of history will open, and we will finally see what Mussolini's men found in that quiet Italian field so long ago. Until then, we are left with a tantalizing possibility that the UFO age began not in Roswell, but in Magenta, Italy in 1933, and that the truth has been hidden for nearly a century. You have been watching Space, the Final Frontier, above and beyond an open-minded channel's retelling of the 1933 Italy UFO incident. If you enjoyed this exploration of the Magenta UFO crash, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more journeys into the unknown. Because the truth is out there, and sometimes it's closer than we think. Final thoughts. The more that I research the beyond, the more I begin to understand that everything past and everything present is somehow connected, and we have never been alone. Thanks for watching.